that, Whitney?
Yes.
Can we start out with the roll call?
I'm showing we have Krista, Brandy, Darcy, Manisha, Sargiana, and Trevor present. If anybody else is present, will you please let us know?
Okay, and then the HRC mission is the purpose of the Bismarck Humans Relations Committee to create an atmosphere of inclusion, equality, and accessibility through the education of outreach to recognize and value of the diverse community. And could I have an approval of the minutes?
I motion to approve. This is Brandy.
And could I have a second?
I'll second. This is
I'll second.
Sargiana.
Did you get that, Whitney?
Yep, I got it.
Okay. And then do we have any public comments?
We need to take a vote on that.
We don't have anyone from the public present on the meeting. Oh, he says for the minutes. That's correct. So you can
That
ask.
we did. I thought we did get a motion. And
Yeah, but
We had
We
a
didn't
motion and a
vote.
second. We didn't vote on it.
oh, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah.
And I take it that we don't have nobody on here that is new.
And Darcy Colley just joined.
I'm sorry, what?
Colley just joined the meeting.
I see that. Hi, Holly.
Hello.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna have you do the next one, Whitney, because I'm not sure about the municipal quality index rating.
Okay, did everybody have a chance to look over the information that was in the link to the agenda? That is something that happens every year, and they've included this in the last couple of years. The email we got said that the Human Rights Campaign will evaluate 306 cities rated in last year's. They included 50 state capitals, the largest cities in the country, the 5 largest cities in each state, the cities close to the state's 2 largest cities, and so on. And it said, please let us know if you're interested in learning more about to improve your score prior to publication. And I guess what I should back up is the Human Rights Campaign Municipal Equality Index is the largest civil rights organization to achieve equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Fair Americans. The MPI is a nationwide evaluation of municipal law policies and services affecting the LGBTQ community. And so in the email that they sent, they're asking if anyone is interested in improve the score on the publication. So I thought I would just bring it to the committee. If you guys are interested, that's great. If not, I just wanted to put it out.
Well, hey, Whitney, I had seen that email and I am interested in that.
That's great, Brandy, if you want to take that on.
Hey, Whitney, I don't know if it's, this is Krista. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm hearing a lot of feedback. It could be because I'm on the phone, but I'm only catching about every other word that you're saying. Is anyone else having that problem?
Yes, I am too.
So I'm wondering, should we all mute when we're not talking? Would that make it easier for us to understand you guys?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to avoid that feedback.
So Whitney, this is a voluntary thing. What I gathered was you got an email. This is a voluntary program that we could be a part of, and we just need to decide if we want to move forward with it.
Correct. And Brandy said she was interested. I'm not sure if anybody wants to work with her on that.
I guess I have
I
to
am
apologize
not-
because
I'm
I'd
not
have to-
interested. Yep. Go ahead, Krista.
I was just going to say I couldn't understand a lot of what you were saying just because it was breaking up so bad on my end. Can you just give me like a 10-second rundown, just the elevator pitch of what exactly it is again?
Okay, so it's the Human Rights Campaign for Municipal Equality, and they rate cities throughout the United States, and Bismarck has been rated the last couple of years. And they were wanting to know if we were interested or if interested in learning more about how to improve our score prior to the publication. And Brandy had expressed interest in that. There is, I know you don't have your computer, Krista, but if you wanted to read more on it, there is a link to the packet that they sent or the email with the attachments in the agenda.
And is this a nonprofit or is there any cost for us to participate?
No, we get rated regardless. So this would just be a way to help increase Bismarck's Human Rights Campaign rating.
I'd be happy, Brandy, to help you on that. I'm kind of in a tough spot as far as, still going through shoulder recovery and having to, I'm chairing a regional committee right now, so I don't have a lot of free time. So I certainly can't lead the project, but if there are certain things that you can delegate that I can be helpful with, I'm happy to help you with that. I think that's something that fits really well with the mission and the goals of this committee. And I think that, if this is a report that's going out either way, I don't see why we wouldn't put our best foot forward to help improve our rating for our community.
Thanks, Krista. I was going to also ask Jason about maybe, I don't think he's on the call, and maybe he is. I can't speak for him, but I was going to reach out and see if he would be interested in helping with that as well. I'm actually working with the Human Rights Campaign during this legislative session anyway, so I'm familiar with this report. And because I've done some work with at least the local PD, I've already started some conversations. So I think you're right, with this fitting into our mission, and it might give a little more levity in what we're trying to accomplish with different partners in the community.
Yeah,
Hi, Brandy.
absolutely. I agree. Just let me know what you need from me.
Say, Brandy, it's Jason. I did hop on. Sorry I'm late, everyone. I was having computer issues. I just caught the end of that, but if you want to reach out and just let me know, I'm willing to help also with whatever you need.
Thank you.
So how about the human rights essay and poetry contest?
Okay, as of today, we have not received any nominations, but we are pushing it out to the Friday Flyer. It'll be on April 2nd's Friday Flyer. And so we're hoping to have some entries for that contest.
Okay. And then what about the Bismarck Global Neighbors Diversity and Inclusion of Partnership updates?
Yeah, this is Collie. Sorry, everyone, I'm late. Yes, I do have some updates for the committee on that. I think for the past time, I volunteer on behalf of the committee to meet with the Bismarck Global Neighbor on that. So for the past, I think couple months, we've been kind of having difficult time to get hold of Bismarck Global Neighbor. But luckily, some part of last week, I was able to speak with Leah, and she gave me an update. So pretty much what she mentioned was that she would need the community help and language inclusion in the community, but she's kind of wondering if the committee really have the power for that, because some of the things she have seen, some of the challenges they are facing is that some of their clients have complained that they are not ready. They do not really feel welcome. They feel somehow like some of the examples. She gave a scenario where she said one of her client where, and it was on this phone call with somebody from one of the administrative office and wanting help, I think with some kinds of application, and then the client told the person that their English was not good. They were not understanding them. They were not getting what they were doing. So right away, and they hang up on them. So she said her client told her that the person hang up on them, and this is something that she said is always happening, and she really need help on that. But she's thinking whether the committee has the power for that. So some of the things she wants the community know, if the community can be empowered, to really hold people accountable for these things, because they are being paid, to help, to assist these people. But then
Hey,
hanging up
Carl.
on them and then going, off on them. So this is something she said, whether we have the power to help, if the community can help, this is something she really would love to get people accountable on that.
Hey, Collie, it's Krista. So when we originally had the conversation about working with Leah, I think what we were hoping to do was to host some sort of either a virtual or an in-person educational event that would raise awareness to local businesses on how they can be more welcoming to new Americans or people who speak English as a second language. I don't know if we have the power to enforce anything without a code or a law in the book. So we can't go to these businesses, I don't think, and tell them, hey, you can't do that. We're merely an advisory committee, so we don't have any power to do that. But I do think that, you know, providing a training that maybe raises awareness in the community and what businesses can do to improve how welcoming they are and the services they provide to new Americans. I think that's something that about 2 or 3 months ago we had talked about. One other concern I have in working with Global Neighbors is I did just get an email as a mentor for Global Neighbors the other day that Leah Hargrove is stepping down as executive director. Did she mention that to you? And if that's the case, would we continue working with Leah on this, or would we work with the incoming executive director?
No, she did not mention that. She did not go that far with me. Yeah, I'm sorry I did not maybe reach out with that on the education aspect, but what she really focused on, and that was something that she said is really a challenge for her for now, you know, and she also, yes, emphasized that we might not have the code or the power to hold people accountable. And with the education aspect, I think, yeah, we didn't touch that aspect of it because I was just thinking what I asked her was what she needs, what are some of the things she fits in that she might need in community help, and this is what she said.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think a couple months ago, that was kind of the goal with Global Neighbors, where we're going to pursue that educational opportunity. So I guess, you know, I don't know, do we have to have, you know, and Darcy, you can lead this how you want, but I feel like with this, we need to have some discussion on, especially with Leah leaving, I don't know if now is the time to pursue a partnership with Global Neighbors. I'm probably being the naysayer here, but I'm wondering, is this this project that we had talked about, the educational aspect of, you know, presenting something, is that something we still want to do? And if so, is now the best time when there's going to be a change in leadership at the partner organization? So I guess kind of 2 questions there that I guess I'd propose to the committee.
Yeah, and then let me just come in. I'm not calling you. I think after we spoke, I also invited her. I think she said she was going to be able to have attended this meeting, and I think when you sent the email, she added her. I also forwarded to her. She responded like to me. You know, she's saying that she was going to find time to be part of this meeting today. And I guess something happened. That's why she's not here. I guess if she herself going to be here, maybe she'll be the right person to maybe provide some narratives for us. Yeah, but we didn't really have a long discussion. I think we only spoke like for, I think, 3 or 4 minutes because she was kind of leaving from the library and then getting home.
In the email that you got, did it say if they had hired someone else to replace her or just that she was leaving?
No, she did not.
Let me
Come in. Go ahead.
go back to the email. If you guys want to continue discussion, I'll see. Oh wait, here it is. Let's see. She'll be stepping down from Global Neighbors this summer, and they'll be looking for a new executive director. So I think they're still searching for a replacement. They're asking interested people to submit applications. I think my perspective on it is I think we've had a lot of different agenda items in the past couple months that we haven't made progress on. So I guess from looking at it from that perspective, I'm wondering, do we think that there's something that'll come from this and we want to keep pushing that relationship, or do we think still see value in a training like that for our local business community? Or do we think that now is the time to move on and focus on other projects? I guess that's kind of where I am. I think we've been talking about this for almost a year now, and nothing's come of it. So I'm just wondering where we should continue to focus our energy.
I would move that we don't do any more with the project until, you know, we just don't do any more with the project until they hire a new executive director.
But I think it's important too that we identify if this is something that the committee sees value in. I think that too often we table discussion and we don't move things forward, and we keep coming back and revisiting it over and over. So, I mean, is there a consensus on our committee that we would continue with this project? Is there enough interest in it?
So Krista, you're willing to make a motion then?
No, I'm not looking to make a motion. I'm looking for discussion. I think
Hey, Chris.
the last year we've put a lot on the agenda and we're not following through with it. So I'm just wondering, is this something that, you know, whether it's on us moving it down the line or whether it's on Leah not engaging with the committee or showing up to meetings, you know, I don't want to point blame. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to identify, is this a project that we want to keep going with? Because if not, I don't see the point in delaying it and then going through the hoops again. I think we just have to identify if this is something we definitely want to do and what it is we want to do.
Hey, Krista, I have a question. This is Brandy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with you in a lot of ways. My question is, are there any parts in the past where we tabled the discussion that you see or you foresee us having to table again? And hold on, let me figure out how to ask this better. So we've tabled it for different reasons in the past. Do you believe that we'll continue to have those same reasonings to table it in the future? The reason why I ask that is if we're reliant on a specific organization for a specific program, is there something we can take from that and kind of adapt into our own committee and then be able to push out with the same intention or similar intent as the Human Relations Committee? Or is what we're trying to adapt pretty reliant on a partner organization, any partner organization, to be able to carry through? Just so that I have a better understanding and can make a more informed decision.
No, thank you for that, Brandy. I think that's a great question. So from what I recall from previous meetings, what we were looking to do was in our conversations with Leah, we had explained previously that, you know, we're an advisory committee. We host diversity university events. Beyond that, we're not writing laws. We're not regulating businesses, right? So that's where we had come to the point where we thought that perhaps we could host a training for our local business community that talked about some of the resources out there and the tools or techniques they could use to better serve our new American population. Whether it's, you know, an app or a device that helps translate to different languages, or, you know, whatever other, you know, tips or guidance a speaker would provide. So Leah had known a couple possible presenters, is I think where we had left off. She had a few ideas of who might be able to present, and we needed to follow up on that to see who those presenters might be. I'm not sure. I mean, if she gave us a contact, if she has somebody in mind and she gave us a contact, I think certainly if we have enough support on the committee, if we have a chairperson, not a chairperson for the actual committee, but like somebody who is willing to lead this project and they had enough drive and initiative, absolutely, I think we could take that on. But I think that it's been a year and we haven't had enough follow through, and that's not on any one person. I think we just keep saying, we'll table the discussion. But, you know, I think we've spent 5-10 minutes on this item already, and we're saying we're just tabling it again, and we haven't made any decisions. So I think rather than just tabling it and going through this cycle again, I think we almost just need to identify, do we have somebody who's willing to take this on? Do they have the time available to do it? And do we think we can? Otherwise, I don't see the point in revisiting it again this summer.
Yeah, I would just as soon get rid of the project. I think it's a bigger project than we can take on.
And yeah, and I don't know that it's a bigger project than we can take on. I don't know if it's any bigger than anything we've done. We are capable of accomplishing this. We've accomplished things of this scale before. We just need somebody to step up and own it and say, hey, I want to do this. I have the time to commit. Because it's going to require some work outside of committee time.
What
I
I
guess I
was,
should add,
I was just gonna say, this is Brandy, because I really do want to commit to the human rights scorecard. And then also I know that I had volunteered to do the diversity university and there was a pandemic. So that kind of created some disruption. I want to be, if it's what I would like to be able to do is follow through with the commitment of, you know, cultural competency training later this fall. Hoping to plan a diversity university at some point when we start having those discussions, and then also carrying through the scorecard. So unfortunately, this isn't something I would be able to take on additionally, and that's just me.
certainly, and I see a lot of value in this training. I don't know if now is a good time for me to take anything on. I'd have to reflect on it personally. I think I'm still doing 2 hours of PT a day for my shoulder, so I don't have a lot of time free to do much of anything. But there's a lot of committee members on the call who might be interested outside of Brandy and I. Is there anyone else who sees value in this and maybe sees enough value that they'd want to dedicate their time and resources to it? And I guess if nobody does, maybe that's our answer. That is that going to change in 6 months or 3 months?
Hi, everybody. This is Jason here. As disheartening as it is, I mean, the minimal information I've gathered off of this, looking into it, just recently joining the committee, I think it's desperately needed in the city, but I am unable to fulfill, that need at this moment. I think that this is something that I'm seeing that we just kind of put to the side for now. And if in the future, when somebody has the time, or it can be brought back to the table. I don't mean to table it, but actually just, let's put this to the side now. And if at some point the interest is gained again, then that it can be brought back to the committee.
And Jason, I think that's an excellent way to approach it. We're not putting it on the agenda in June to revisit it, so we won't be rehashing it. But if we identify the need, and if a committee member wants to pick it up later, I think we'd welcome discussion on it again. So I guess, Darcy, to help you out, I'd say I would make a motion that at this time we remove this item from the agenda and move forward with the other projects that we have before us.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Whitney, are you going to take the next one with the global, I'm sorry, the Humanity Awards?
Okay, yep, we have 11 people, and I think everybody should have been able to review the nominations for the Humanitarian Award. I was kind of just gonna touch base on the end of the agenda so we can spend the rest of the time focusing on the humanitarian award.
Sure, go ahead.
So I did send out a list of the clubs and committees that I was able to find just doing an internet search, and that list was attached to the agenda, as well as I updated the HRC brochure. So if you guys have any questions on those, you can definitely reach out to me and I can answer any questions you have. But other than that, the nominations were attached to the agenda. And if you guys want to have discussion on who you feel should be nominated, you can go ahead.
Just a reminder for the group, everybody, this is Jason Tamanik. We've got some technical upgrades that are coming on at 6:15. We need to wrap things up tonight or we're going to lose our network connectivity and our meeting will be cut abruptly short. So just a heads up, we got about a half an hour to wrap up what's left on the agenda or carry it over to the next meeting. So thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Quick question. I looked these over last week, but I've been traveling for work and I haven't been able to look. I know we had one person who was nominated several times. Whitney, can you go down the list and remind us of who our nominees are and what association they're affiliated with?
Sure. Okay, we've got the Dakota Children's Advocacy Center. The synopsis was they help children who have been abused either physically or sexually. Nearly 400 kids came through their doors last year. We have Dakota Outright, the CEO, Erin Pringle. Dakota Outright's mission is to serve the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community of North Dakota with a focus in the capital city and surrounding areas by increasing visibility, providing resources and information, advocating for equality, creating safe places for protection, support, and celebration. Then we have Family Voices of North Dakota. Says Family Voices of North Dakota celebrate their 20th anniversary this year. Specifically, their director, Doneen Feist, is a fierce
Feist.
Yep,
It's Doneen Feist.
Okay. Is a fierce advocate for children and families in our state. Family Voices serves children and youth with special healthcare needs and disabilities. Their work extends to training, parent support, legislative leadership, promoting family-centered care coordination, and so much more. And then we have Hope Manor. This organization is providing a vital necessary service to the community through drug and alcohol rehabilitation, the miracles that result in people's lives because they have a safe and sober home to practice recovery from drug addiction and alcoholism is changing lives not only for the residents but their families and the community as well. And those are what we have for the organization nominations, and these are now individual nominations. Ken Neisother. Ken is the most generous, caring, giving, well respected by many. He has a heart of gold and wears his heart on his shoulder. He'll never say no when there's a child in need. He has donated shopping carts full of food to local food drives so the less fortunate can have warm meal as well. Along with Carrie's kids, fill the backpacks, including helping out local charities so they can all keep their programs running. And then we have Nikki Johnson. It says she's a reporter at KX News. And Nikki cares about people and loves to see them succeed. She serves with a selfless heart by telling stories for KX News that offer resources to those who struggle with mental health or substance abuse and suicide prevention. She's also the leader of Rise ND, a Facebook platform with 3,000 women where she is real and shares openly about her struggles with anxiety and depression, normalizing the conversation about mental health. And then this is the one that we had repeated, Rachel Howard with Closet 127. There's so many people that nominated her.
What is Closet 127? That's providing like professional or quality clothing to people in need, right, Whitney?
Yeah, Rachel Howard has founded Closet 127, whose mission is to provide furniture and household items to individuals and families who are leaving unhealthy situations, starting over, and embarking on a new path in life. Closet 127 accepts donations, household items, and furniture, and then provides these items to individuals or families in need free of charge. Rachel firmly believes that everyone should be treated with dignity and respect, no matter their economic season of life, and invites them to schedule a private appointment to shop for their items they want and need in the style and color they like. Through Closet 127, Rachel has helped over 75 families in need since being founded in June of 2020. She's been a light, a beacon of hope when so many people have been walking through dark times. Her generosity knows no limits. It is truly an honor to nominate her for a Humanitarian of the Year. And then she also has 3andme Mobile Cafe. It doesn't say a lot with that, but yeah, she was nominated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Yes.
Thanks, Whitney. That was helpful. I think that just you going through that jogs my memory and kind of the feelings that I had on who, if I were casting my vote right now without discussion, it would go to. I think it would go to her just based on the resounding support that the community has shown for her and the work she does. And it's important work and probably thankless work a lot of the time. As far as for the organization, I think that we've gotten a lot of wonderful nominations, but for me, it would be a resounding yes for Dakota Outright for many reasons. One, the work they do aligns very specifically with our mission. Two, this has been a very difficult year for the LGBTQ community with really the last couple of years have been incredibly difficult with legislation that's come forward, with bullying in the schools. We've seen it in our own communities. I know Brandy's spoken out against it. Now more than ever, I think that their voice is important. I think that the work they do is crucial. And I think it's time that we recognize them for the good that they're doing in our communities. So, I certainly think that we need to discuss this, but if this is a way to start discussion, those are the two that if I were making the choice independently of anybody else, those are the two that I would push for.
And just to note,
Whitney, isn't there another one though? Another organization that was sent after these?
You are right. Let me bring that one up.
I don't remember who it is. I just remember there was another one.
And while Whitney's looking at that, I did look that over prior to this meeting, so that was the one I could find in my inbox, and I just struggled to find the connection to the work of our committee. So I'm sure Whitney can pull it up, but.
Yes.
Continues conversation while we're waiting for that last one to be brought up. I actually wanted to just kind of second what Krista said in regards to Dakota Outright. A lot of times, they've been in our community for well over 10 years, and the LGBTQ plus community is constantly targeted through state legislation as well as other policies through employment and housing and areas a lot of times that we don't think of. And I think the work that they've been doing to combat some of the bad bills, there were 5 specifically just this session from January to today that they have continuously worked alongside myself and other organizations through on a local, statewide and national level. And I think that it would be really, I really do think that they deserve the recognition because they're not expecting any. They just show up and they fight for a very marginalized, targeted community in the state.
And even if we put politics aside, because, there are different people with what's in the legislature right now. People have different views on the right to use the bathroom of your choosing, and I understand that. But even if we don't bring their legislative support and being that voice for those community members, they give community members a place to gather, a safe place to come together so that they can, meet people who understand, their situation, and that they can talk to about shared experiences. They bring so much positivity to our community, and I guess I would just be remiss if we didn't recognize them for the work that they're doing.
So I'm new, this is Sargiana, so I'm just wondering, so you don't just select one person, you select an organization and a single person, or do you have to just select one overall?
In the past, when we've had enough applications to do so, we've actually selected an organization and an individual. So it's kind of varied year by year, at least since I've been on the committee. There have been years that we've just selected from a small pool of applicants, and we've only put forth one award. And then there was a year where we recognized Leah Hargrove and Heaven's Helper Soup Cafe the same year, because we chose to recognize one as an organization and one as an individual. So I think this committee has some free reign on how they want to approach it.
And I think after reading all of these nominations, I think all of them would be deserving. I know of Rachel Howard, and I've only heard good things. Actually, I've heard a story of someone who actually donated items to Closet 127, and they were able to transport the items that they were donating to the home of where the single mom who was abused would live. And she was so grateful to have that connection, that Rachel connected these people to that person, and it was like the exact color she wanted of furniture and everything. So I've heard a touching story as far as her organization and what good they do for our community as well.
I agree.
Hi, this is Manisha, and I just have a quick clarification question because this is my first time where we're reviewing applications, for the humanitarian award. So for this year, are we looking to vote on both an organization and an individual, or is that again something that the committee has to vote for?
I think the committee can choose, Manisha. We have in the past. I think if I recall, last year we only gave away one. We didn't have a lot of nomination forms last year. In fact, I think Dr. Roswick was the only one we received. But the year prior, we had chosen to give away two. So I think the committee has the right to choose whether they want to do one or they want to do both. I think in the past we've done organization and individual. So I think the committee has a right to choose. Is it one, is it two, and who would be the recipient?
And just a follow-up question, thanks, Krista. On this would be, so when we're looking at the individual, are we going off of how many nominations has the individual received? Does that hold weightage, or are we also looking at other aspects?
Yeah, I don't think that we've ever looked solely at how many nominations have come in. I think certainly that would probably play a role in our decision to some degree. I mean, it shows that, there's several people who want to see that person nominated, but I don't think that's the end all be all. If we received 6 nominations and they were rushed and didn't have a lot of context, but we received one nomination for somebody that was very thorough and we felt that nomination was more well put together, certainly, I think it could go either way.
Thank you.
I have that other nomination up. It is National Express Transit. It says National Express Transit provides fixed route and paratransit bus service in our community. Hiring practices demonstrate a variety of demographics, including age, gender, and ethnicity. Senior management on down to the drivers and service representatives inculcate a culture of acceptance. During the pandemic, National Express worked with Bisman Transit staff to ensure service was provided safely and timely while following the governmental mandates. This resulted in essential workers being able to get to their jobs and the community being able to get to medical appointments. The drivers genuinely care about their passengers. Since taking over the service contract, there have been less complaints. Customer feedback includes drivers being personable, kind, helpful, and watchful. Appreciation is expressed for assisting the elderly and disabled. It is not above the general manager to drive the bus if short-staffed.
Hi, everybody. Jason here. I really think the idea with so many nominations of recognizing an organization and a person would be beneficial for us as a committee to start representing more than just one or two areas, being able to recognize people along with organizations in the community. For me, I really appreciate hearing everything about Rachel Howard. But sometimes I have to pause when I hear Nikki Johnson. She's somebody who is, using her position in the community as a reporter to further, bring voices to humanitarian causes. And that's something that I always respect. Sometimes when people, are elevated into positions, they use it for personal gains. And to see someone out there trying to raise voices and awareness to those struggling or suffering in our committee is good, or community, I should say. The other one I wanted to point out along with everyone else is Dakota Outright. And that's just because I have some personal interactions with my niece who's gone to some of the Q Space youth events that they put on to help people feel safe in the community. And they also partner up with a lot of different communities or organizations, I should say, in the community, doing what they can. Those are just my thoughts on the matter. If you look at Hope Manor, I know that they've been in the news also. They opened up a recovery center called The Hub during the middle of the pandemic so that people struggling in their recovery had somewhere to go. Instead of getting lost, rates of addiction and alcoholism skyrocketed during the pandemic. So just that they're being so selfless to try and think about the community too. So just some thoughts.
So I wonder, it sounds like I haven't heard any naysayers for Dakota Outright. I mean, do we want to make a motion to get that organization? I guess I would make a motion that we present the organization award to Dakota Outright, just because we've heard so much positive feedback on that one. And then we can probably discuss if we want to do a second one. So I'll make a motion for that, to present the organization humanitarian award to Dakota Outright.
Did you make the motion, Krista, or are you asking? Sorry.
Well, I think I forgot to take my chair hat off for a second.
Okay, because I was like,
make a motion. So yeah. So I'll make the motion to for Dakota Outright to receive that award.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I would make a motion for that Hope Manor.
So if I could pause for discussion, we already decided to present the organization award to Dakota Outright. So do we want to focus on an individual or an organization for the second award?
I think an organization. There's a lot of organizations that have done a lot during the pandemic.
Can I just throw something out here?
Yeah.
If we were going to do a person, the one person that I would, of course I can't vote anyway, but I'm going to give my recommendation is Dion Feist with Family Voices of North Dakota.
I think that we should have, the second one should be a person. I think we should have one organization and one person.
Yes,
So it
a person.
varies. No, but
And I
Trevor
agree
was
with
saying Hope
that.
Manor, so we're talking about that.
I agree. I think it'll be good to recognize an individual and an organization because I know the nominations that we have received the applications, these are individuals who are selflessly working. And I think that our vote should go to an award should be given to one organization and the other as an individual should be recognized.
I agree.
And I absolutely agree with that as well. I think I think my opinion differs a little from Jason's when it comes to Nikki Braley. I guess former reporter here, a lot of reporters tell feature stories, empowering feature stories. I don't know that I see it any different. Like comparing that to somebody who is giving clothes to the needy, I really struggle with that being a nomination. I think that, I've been a part of the Rise ND group for a while, and most of it is Nikki posting videos and just kind of talking to people. There's not, I just don't see it so much as humanitarian. I think the work she's doing is good, but it's hard for me to put that on the same level as somebody who's helping clothe and feed the hungry. So I think I would go with our nominee that had 6 supporting nominations over Nikki.
And I would as well, and I'm actually friends with Nikki. As far as with Rachel, she takes her own time to have this nonprofit to give furniture to people that have been in abusive situations. I mean, that's her going above and beyond on her own, not using her media platform to do it. And Nikki is a great person. She's brought many things to, especially mental health issues and things like that, including telling her own story. But when I see a humanitarian, I see it more so of Rachel taking her own time, starting this because she saw a need in our community.
Hi, this is Manisha, and I too would vote in favor of Rachel rather than Nikki. And my rationale again being Nikki has a platform where she can reach out and help several, and she's already doing that fabulously. And I think recognizing Rachel would help bring more individuals to be able to come and seek help from her, which would really make a good difference to our community.
I'm fine with that.
This is Jason here. I can completely understand that, and I appreciate the input and further conversation. On that note, I'd like to make a motion to recognize Rachel Howard as our individual honoree.
This is Krista. I'll second that.
I'm okay with that. This is Coley.
So do I have on favor, say aye?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. So what else do we have, Whitney?
On that humanitarian award, I will get the awards ordered and then coordinate a time when the nominees can attend a commission meeting, because usually the commission acknowledges the awards at the meeting and they take a picture and stuff. We aren't completely closed down for the commission meetings as there's more room for social distancing. So I'm hoping maybe a few members could go for a photo op. I'm not sure what the next couple months are going to bring though. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. And then as far as the rest of the business, we kind of covered it unless anyone has anything else.
Whitney, I just wanted to bring up one thing. And I know that this obviously falls into lines like as CDC guidelines are changing and expanding, but one of the things I hope that we'll be able to discuss or, be open to discussions is starting to look at maybe a hybrid option to start transitioning into maybe a mix of virtual and in person, or looking at different spaces or larger spaces when available. And the reason why I say this is because since we've gone virtual, no one uses their cameras. It feels like the conversations are engaging, but still like there's a slight disconnect. And I think that if we, some of the frustrations that were shared about things continuously being tabled, I feel like when we're virtual with no cameras on and we're muted, it's really easy to table important conversations. And I just hope that this could be something discussed either by email or within like your office, where we could look at a hybrid option for our next meeting, so that those of us who are wanting and willing to meet in person or vaccinated, or we have the space, that we actually start making an effort to meet in that setting.
Brandy, a resounding yes from me. I think that we're much more collaborative in person, and I agree wholeheartedly with everything you just said. I think that would be great.
Thank you.
And I agree as well. I think much more is accomplished in meetings. I know we've done a year of probably Zoom or Teams, but I think much more is accomplished when you're in person, kind of having that discussion as well.
And I think if we go back to the first floor conference room, we can accommodate the 9 members on the committee. I'll have to look at the occupancy for that room, but I will definitely let you guys know. And if that's
yeah, and Krista, I agree with you, because vaccinations are picking up too. Like, I just got my first vaccination. I'll have my second on the 6th of April. So I would prefer we get back in person too. Sometimes the technology just doesn't work good.
Plus, you can get a lot more accomplished in person than you can on the phone.
Great idea, Brandy. Thanks for bringing that forward. I've been thinking it for a long time, and you never know everybody's risk tolerance, but you're right. We're all vaccinations are open to everybody at some locations now, so I think it's time we start returning to normal if we can.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that there's been such a positive response. So I know we have like a minute left, so I do appreciate the great discussion today, and for all of us being able to accommodate a special meeting. I really enjoyed it. That's the last thing I want to say.
Thank you. I have a quick question though. I know we have 1 minute left and this shouldn't take very long. Just wanted to get the committee's feel on, I do go in to talk about my religion sometimes to schools. I get invited. And so would it be okay for me to discuss the student liaison option while I am meeting and talking to high school students? Or is that something that should come from your office, Whitney?
I can't see why you couldn't advocate for the Human Relations Committee.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
So could I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. This is Krista.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So Trevor and I both moved, so just put one of us down for a motion and the second. I think that'll work.
All right, thanks for being so flexible, everybody.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Everyone. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye.